put 500 by 500. It's quite a blocky thing. Let me check here. It's just a blocky. Maybe it's something like that. Let's say, yeah, 500 by 800. There you go. So I'm just gonna align this to the middle. So if you press play, you should be able to see this already. Yeah, doesn't have anything in there, but you should be able to see this, which is good. Right, so now this is just a box. Let's start to add the, let me go back here, the title here. Let's add that title there. So to add that title, what I'm gonna do here is we're gonna search. We kind of need to use a canvas inside. We can actually use maybe, let's add horizontal. Actually, let's add a canvas inside. A canvas there. So inside the canvas, we can actually do all sorts of stuff. And now we're gonna add a horizontal box, right? Which is it's gonna be the title. I'm just gonna anchor this on the middle here, and 0.5, 0.5. Yeah. So all I did here, guys, I add a border scale to 500 by 800. Add a canvas inside. Just drag and drop the canvas inside the border. Now I am adding a horizontal box, which will be the title. And now let's work on this title, right? So I'm just gonna make something like this. I'm not sure yet how big I wanna go. Yeah, I am gonna align this, the position, just a little bit like, let's say 100 here. That's too much. 10. There you go. Right. And then inside the horizontal box, I want two things. I want a button, which is going to be close, and I want a title. So I'm just going to get the title. Sorry, text, right? The text will be, is going to say, the text right now is, I'm just going to say, inventory. You can't see the text now because the text is white, but if I change the outline, you should be able to see the text, which is nice. Inventory, or you could call this backpacks or inventory, it doesn't matter. Nice. Now what I'm gonna do as well, I'm gonna add a button here. Button, and here. Let me see if we have any nice design that we can actually use here, but actually now let's keep it simple. I'm just gonna add the text inside. I'm not gonna get too technical on this design. It's just gonna be X in capital letters, right? There you go. So right now we're gonna align this to the middle, and this guy here is gonna be aligned like here. Fill. There you go. Make sure you mark the fill here so we can align this in there. Or I'm gonna, I think it's just in the middle, right? Let me just double check here. Yeah, something along those lines. So I'm just gonna align this maybe here or auto. Yeah, I think that sounds okay. Yeah, not too perfect, but that's fine. So I'm gonna call the button close button, right? Just gonna compile and save this, which is good. There you go. So if you press play, you should be able to see this. Still not looking nice, but we're gonna work a little bit on it, right? Now the button here, for some reason, the text is not centered. Let's see why. So I think we can make sure that, it's because of the padding. There we go. Close button. Let me just add here. Nice. Okay. And I'm just gonna change this button color to red. No, that's the color of the text. Just wanna change. What is it? The style. Style. There you go. Normal. Right. So we're gonna put this black, something like this. I think it's because of this size as well. Yeah, nice. So the color of the button, and when you hover Can put it yellow. It doesn't really matter, guys. It's just so we can actually have some feedback of the button. So there you go. So the button is in there. Nice. And there we go. Right. So now our horizontal box here. If you click on the main inventory, where is say tint, I'm just gonna make sure is at 0. I don't want to see that box yet. Or if I want to see that box, maybe I can put. Yeah, let's try it. Let's make it 0.1. And then we change this color to like a black color. So we see there is like a background or some kind of like a border or limitations in there. There you go. So we have our inventory here. Cool. Very simple, nothing too crazy. This looks like it'll be small, but we'll see there how it's going to go. Right. So we got our, I'm just going to rename this to title, right? The canvas, we can leave as canvas. That's fine. There you go, guys. So I just cut it here just to create a basic layout here for our inventory, right? And let me just resume in here and show what I did here step by step, right? So let me just positionate this box here, right? So what I did here is I have created a grid, yeah. Let me do it from scratch. Let's make sure we create another one here. We can actually use this one as a base, yeah. So what I did here, I searched for uniform grid, right? Just create a uniform grid. And then the options you want to set, don't worry about those positions because they need to be addressed as we go through. Let me just put this alignment 0.5. So it gets exactly to the middle of the page here, which is good. Right, so what he did here is just check the mix and the max design of the slot, which will be 64 for now, right? The slot padding is the distance between those slots. So if you put like 1, it'll be less, and then you can actually add more slots if you want. So I'm just gonna put 5 the way it was, right? And the way I actually am going to do these slots in here, right? So that's basically all the main configurations you need. Just add a grid in there. The slot size is going to be 64. This one as well. Remember, the one you want to use is this one here. Is the uniform grid slot. Yeah, that's the same one. I've just renamed it to grid. And then this, I'm going to call the widget slot. And for the widget slot, what we're going to do here, let me expand everything so we can actually see what I'm trying to do here. Right. So first of all, what we're going to add here is a size box. Let me do it with you guys. So search here for a size box. I'm going to add the size box inside the grid. When you add stuff inside the grid, you kind of have to know which row and column you're trying to add, right? So, for example, right now we are in a row 1, column 1, so it's gonna come up in there, and 2, and 3, and so on, right? So we're gonna have to do some kind of coding logic to do that for us, but that's fine. We get there, right? So we go our size box here, and then our size box. I am gonna add another, the first size box, and then inside our size box, I'm gonna add something called scale box, right? So something that will scale inside. And then the size box, you just make it scale to fit, right? So I'm just gonna come in here, make sure we have this, which will, where is it? Let me just double check here. Oh yeah, sorry, the width over height, there we go, sorry. You need to just select this here to 90 as well, and we're gonna mark this. There's nothing coming up yet because we don't actually have anything yet saved in there. Right, and then in here you also need to mark those here, right? So we need to make sure they fit in there. So all I did here is just on the size box, you select horizontal alignment, vertical alignment, you tick those two and make sure you put 90 there, which is the size we want to override. I think if you take this out, they get a weird different size, but yeah, that's the size we want. Inside we want a scale box that is by default it came scale to fit, which is nice. And then what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add a overlay, right? So I'm gonna search for overlay. I'm gonna add an overlay here. Yeah, so we go overlay here inside our scale box. And then what I'm gonna be doing here is I'm gonna add a border and I'm gonna add a count, right? So I'm gonna add two borders in there. So first of all, so the first border here, I'm gonna add a border which is gonna be the background. So we can call background, right? Or background icon. Note that this one, icons, right? This background we're gonna make sure is 0. But before that, just make sure is, I think it fits. I think we're just gonna make sure that we manually can scale that. Let me check here how I done it here. I think it's just size or image size. There you go. So we're gonna come in here, search for size. Image size is 100. There we go. And what I'm gonna be adding now is we go icon inside, right? So I'm just gonna add here image, search for image, and inside the group here, right? So it will scale the whole thing, right? For now, what I'm gonna do here is gonna be the icon itself, item icon. I'm just gonna put a placeholder for now so we can see what we're working with. So we can see if that works weird or not. Remember, we have a lot of icons that we can use. For some reason, I cannot find any one of those. So I'm just gonna go in here. Craft resources, textures. I'm just gonna get any one of those, at least one that makes sense. There you go, that. And then I'm gonna set the icon here. There we go. So we got the icon there. Nice. Okay. The background, I am just gonna make sure is like maybe a little gray color or something like this. And let's add some like opacity effect. And the next thing I want to do here is I want to add another overlay. So I'm gonna add another border. It's gonna be this border here, right? I want to make sure I align that border. I don't think it can actually fit here. Yeah, I can. So I'm just gonna make sure that border is here, right? Align that. What I'm gonna add now inside the border is a text, right? Which will be right now. Just how do they do that? That's just the padding, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure that the padding is 50. Align on the middle. Not sure I took. Let me just check here. Why does it actually took the whole space of it? Border. Let me start again. So it's gonna add a border there. So the border, I'm gonna add a text. That is over hiding. Let me just copy this structure here. So it's just